Join me as I dive deep into my personal journey of feeling broken and discover what God taught me about faith and how it can truly restore us. I've been in those dark moments where everything seems to be falling apart, and I'm left feeling utterly broken. Maybe you've been there too, where the weight of your struggles crushes you, and you wonder if you'll ever find a way out. In those times, it's easy to question our faith, to wonder if God is even listening or if He cares. But I've come to realize that those moments of brokenness can become opportunities for growth in faith, if we let them. There are times when the darkness feels so overwhelming that it's hard to see any glimmer of hope. You feel like you're drowning in your tears, and the emotions are suffocating. It's like being lost in a dense forest with no map to guide you out. You're desperate for a way out, but every path you take leads to a dead end. In those moments, it's easy to lose faith, to wonder if God has abandoned us. The feelings of despair and hopelessness can be all-consuming. It's like being trapped in a prison of your own making, with no key in sight. You feel like you're screaming for help, but your voice is muffled by the walls of your own fears and doubts. It's hard to imagine a way out when everything seems so bleak. But I've learned that it's in those moments of desperation that we need to hold on to our faith the most. I've seen people give up on their faith during those times, and I've been tempted to do the same. But something deep within me kept whispering that there must be more to this story. There had to be a way to find peace, to find restoration, even in the midst of the chaos. And that's when I started to realize that my brokenness wasn't a sign of God's absence, but rather an opportunity for Him to work in me. I remember the first time I felt truly broken. I was in my early 20s, and my world had been turned upside down. I had lost someone I loved deeply, and the grief was crippling me. I felt like I was stuck in quicksand, unable to move forward. But in those moments of despair, I began to seek God like never before. I poured out my heart to Him, crying out for comfort, for peace, for restoration. And slowly but surely, I started to feel His presence around me. The journey wasn't easy, and there were times when I felt like giving up. But I held on to my faith, even when it felt like a fragile thread. And that's when I started to learn some of the most valuable lessons of my life. I learned that my brokenness wasn't a weakness, but rather a strength. I learned that it was okay to not be okay, and that it was okay to ask for help. The pivotal moment for me was when I realized that my faith wasn't about being strong, it was about being vulnerable. It wasn't about having all the answers, it was about trusting in a God who did. It was a moment of surrender, of letting go of my need to control and trusting in His goodness. And that's when I started to experience true restoration. As I look back on my journey, I'm reminded that brokenness can lead to a deeper understanding of faith and healing. It's not about avoiding the hard times, but about embracing them as opportunities for growth. It's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic. And it's not about having all the answers, it's about trusting in a God who does. So, I want to leave you with this: brokenness is not the end of your story. It's often the beginning of a new chapter, one that can lead to deeper faith, greater healing, and a more authentic you. Share with me in the comments below your own stories of brokenness and how your faith helped you through those times. And if you want to explore more on the theme of faith and resilience, be sure to check out my next video. Thanks for watching.